Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining today for our weekly call. It's a beautiful day outside. Appreciate you making time to be here. We have a very robust agenda today, but we're very grateful to have two guest speakers on the call with us, Sheriff Brian Bagola and Becky Semla from Capital Area Community Services. To give us some updates. I would like to kick things off with our Sheriff, Brian. Brian has done an awesome job representing Shiawassee County over the past 4 years. We have a great working relationship. He's been very helpful to us in supporting local business and jobs in the area. And I thought it would be good to have him come on and give everybody an update on what's happening with the Sheriff's Department here in Shiawassee County. And then certainly if anyone has any questions related to the Sheriff or law enforcement, certainly I'm sure he'd be happy to answer those. So with that, I'd like to turn the floor over to Brian so he can give you that update. And Brian, if you've not done so already, hit *6 on your phone so you're unmuted. Brian, I don't know if you want to try that again. We can't hear you yet.
Is it working now?
There you go, Brian. You're good. The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, thank you, Justin. I appreciate all those kind words, and good morning to everyone. Justin asked me to give an update on what we have going on at the Sheriff's Department here. I'll start by letting you know that this is my 30th year in law enforcement. I'm very proud to serve the citizens of Shiawassee County. It's the nearly fourth year as your sheriff. And I know a lot of you know my primary duty is to take care of the jail here, but not everybody knows that I have a lot of additional duties, and that's overseeing the road patrol, detective bureau. We do a lot of civil process here, dispatch, animal control, emergency management, and court security. So all of those things keep me pretty busy, and all of them require me to have a close working relationship with many of the Board of Commissioners, and most recently our newly appointed County Administrator, Dr. Brian Boggs, which, by the way, is just doing a fantastic job for us. There's a number of other things that we have going. Probably the biggest worry, concern, and what's keeping me busy right now is our finances. As you know, the county chose to take advantage of the work share program in an effort to cut roughly $180,000 in wages over the past 2 months. We're just ending that furlough, actually. And this consisted of the deputies being furloughed 1 day a week. And our hopes were that by taking advantage of this furlough, it would prevent possible layoffs. I know you're familiar that we had the 15 deputies laid off in 2015, and we've consistently been bringing the Sheriff's Department back to what it was and going on and above, adding programs and things like that. So we're hoping that these furloughs, avoid possible layoffs in the end of this year and possibly next year, because there's anticipated reduction in state revenue sharing. In addition to that, the county department heads are being tasked with reducing the current budget by 15% for 2021. And that amounts to about $750,000 department because I'm one of the larger departments. So we are taking efforts and making tough decisions and try to minimize the effects that those cuts are going to have to services that we provide. There are a number of things that we do to counteract that. Of course, there's grants out there and things like that, and we're continuously pursuing those, and I'm happy to announce that we recently received a $9,000 Department of Justice grant, and then on top of that, there was a $3,400 grant from the 100 Club of Shiawassee, Genesee, and Lapeer counties, and that money went toward buying all of the deputies' new bulletproof vests. Our bulletproof vests were expired, and so we were able to get new ones. The other grants that have come in recently were the Office of Highway Safety Planning. That is our secondary road patrol money. If you're familiar with Deputy Craig Lawson, he's the one currently assigned to that traffic enforcement detail. And we received about $75,000 for the 2020 year. We've applied for it for 2021, but because of our reduction in numbers and in deputies, we might not be eligible for as much money as we were, but we're going to continue to do what we can there. Another good thing we have going on is the 1033 program. That's the federal government's program where we're able to acquire vehicles and equipment and other resources. And those things have made our county more prepared for emergencies. We had a couple emergencies over the last couple of years from tornadoes and things like that, but we acquired a brand new generator. It's probably worth about $30,000. It's a beautiful generator that came from the 1033 program. We mounted it on a trailer, and so it's mobile. It can be moved all around in case we need to use that. We've acquired some equipment. We've done an expansion out to our deputies. Previously had to go out, they'd shoot their handguns out to our training center and firing range out there at the corner of Morris and Grand River Road, but they couldn't fire their rifles. It wasn't long enough. We'd have to pack up everything, bring it over to the Dog and Gun Club. So we expanded that range from 50 yards all the way to 100 yards, and now we fly out there. So that was a nice bonus and something that never could have been done without the 1033 program. It also permitted us to take that training range down there. We recently completed what is called a secondary emergency operations center. Our central dispatch here acts as an operations center, but now we're fully equipped down there. If something should happen, perhaps lost power, tornado, whatever it may be, and the central dispatch becomes inoperable, they can simply unplug the phones, go down to the secondary emergency operations center, and plug in down there and start taking 911 calls. Another good thing that came off that 1033 program is a mobile command center, which also has those communication devices that we can move around the county. So it's a fantastic program, and we're happy that the federal government offers it. You probably heard some stuff in the news lately that they're thinking about canceling it, and we certainly hope that's not the case. So, speaking about central dispatch, we are on a radio project. The handheld walkie-talkies, as everybody knows them, are being phased out by Motorola. Many of them work good, but many of them are breaking down, and Motorola will no longer service them. So that requires us to update the radios for all police, all fire, all EMS, and it's a huge project, about a $1.5 million project right now, and that's without the fire department. And I'm happy to report that's not money that's going to come out of the general fund. Some people would get their telephone bill and they'd see that $2.65 surcharge on there each for the landline. Well, that's what that money is being used for. It funds your 911 center, and that money is going to buy the radio. So each municipality, village, city won't have to come up with that cost themselves. The money will come out of central dispatch from the landline surcharge. And so we're working on the project for the police right now, and then there's a large grant available for the fire department that they've applied for. We're waiting to hear back if they get that, and of course, if they get that grant, that's going to be a substantial savings also. Our garden is, if you haven't been by there, drive by. It's unbelievable. Last year we had 60,000 pounds of vegetables coming out of there that help feed the inmates here in 27 food banks. We've almost doubled it, so we're hopeful that the produce coming out there will be almost double. There's right now, currently, we just got done picking onions. The green peppers are ready. We have tomatoes that are on the vine. They're getting pretty big, but they're still green. Zucchini, we had probably thousands of pounds of zucchini. It was incredible yield out there. So we're continuing that. And unfortunately, our minimum security inmate population is down here in the jail. That is a result of the COVID times. We haven't been accepting, well, there hasn't been hardly any sentencing, but we haven't been accepting the minimum security prisoners. And so we don't have that workforce to go out like we used to and work in the garden. So with the cooperative effort with the probate court, they have some youth offenders, and we're sending those youth offenders down. We got a program going that they're down there helping cultivate, plant, and take care of the garden. So it's really good for them, but it also benefits us and the food banks around the area. One of the other things we have going on right before the COVID times, we have church security services and training. We had an advanced church security training at the Calvary Church here in Owasso, where we trained 12 church elders on that, and it was very successful. A lot of praise and review on that, and we're hoping to put on another basic church security. So we have a survey that we come along to the churches, and we take a look at what they have there, and we make recommendations, and then if they want, then we'll train their church elders in case that there's a situation that happens. They're able to at least hold it down until law enforcement can get there. I think that's probably about it. I will mention emergency management. Our emergency manager, Jeff Weiss, that we hired, has been doing a great job. You wouldn't know he's new. He's blended right in and made a lot of connections, doing a great job. He was working with the health department through these COVID times and helping to acquire personal protection equipment for the police, fire, EMS, hospital personnel, and was present the entire time that the Emergency Operations Center was up and operating. So he's just been doing a great job. If you haven't met him, please try to do that. He's a very friendly guy and a real asset to the county. So, okay, with that, I think that's probably most of what we have going on right now, and I'd be happy to take any questions that you guys might have.
Brian, thank you. And once again, you're doing an awesome job protecting us here in Shiawassee. I do want to open up the floor real quick to everyone if you have questions for Brian, but I did have one to kick it off real quick. So obviously, difficult times right now with COVID and all that. What are you seeing out there in terms of crime in the county? And maybe given the audience we have here in the call, anything specifically related to businesses in the area, or I guess anything you want to share on that?
Yeah, I think the stay-at-home order actually did cut down on some crime. We didn't see as much. Most recently, I'd say a month ago or so, there was a rash of breaking and enterings into storage units. Those people were apprehended, but they were in various areas of Durand, Lennon, areas around the county. But that's probably been the biggest crime spree. I would report things are increasing now. We're starting to accept some of the inmates. Of course, you always got to be conscious. We don't want to bring something into the jail, so we're very selective. We have to screen those people and things like that. But we're starting to accept more people into the jail. I would say that the crime is maybe down a little bit. Could be attributed to the extra money that's given them or something like that. But we're not seeing any a lot of home break-ins. Of course, people are home during the day too. So generally, if you don't know, a lot of break-ins occur during the day when you're not home and you're at work, as opposed to at nighttime or something. If you might think that. So with people being home, we're not seeing many residential breaking-ins or anything like that.
That's all good to know. Anybody have any questions for Brian? If you do, hit *6 on your phone, please. Questions for Brian? Any questions? Okay, well, very good. Well, Brian, as always, we appreciate the partnership we have with you, all the great work you're doing to protect our county. If anyone has any questions for you for their own personal business or personal needs, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
I got one question, please.
Oh, go ahead, Colleen. Go ahead.
Sorry, Justin. I was just curious. We've had 2 protests for the Black Lives Matter. The first one, I think everybody knew about. The second one just kind of popped up and surprised us. Is there more protests that are scheduled coming up? I'm just curious because I know you hear out of other states that they're getting violent, and I guess the one that was this past weekend was also quite vulgar. So I'm just wondering if there's more that's coming, or if you guys know.
Yes, the Chief of Police in Owasso, Chief Linkart and we're in constant contact about that stuff, and it was a great cooperative effort on the first one. In fact, we probably deployed up to 50, 60 police. We didn't know what to expect. We saw the trends across the nation, and we wanted to be as prepared as we possibly could here. The second one we did have notice about. Again, the Chief of Police and I were in contact with it and monitored the situation. And from what the information we had, it was going to be small, 25 to 50 people, and that's about what it turned out to be. Right now, there are no other ones scheduled, but I mean, that could change at any day.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Pauline. Any other comments or questions for Brian? Brian, what would be, if someone does have a question for you, maybe they have a personal issue or business issue, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You know, I think I'm very accessible. Most people know that. I can be reached through email at bgole@shiawassee.net. Many people reach out to me on Facebook, through Messenger, through the sheriff's office, or my personal one. My cell phone number, I think most everybody has that. It's not, it's listed on the computers, on the websites and stuff. It's 517-574-3031. And I don't think I'm the traditional sheriff. I answer, I take those calls, I respond, I text message all hours of the day to try to be available. I understand when you need your sheriff, it doesn't always happen between 8 and 5. And a lot of people, you know, they probably are surprised, but I do get back with them as soon as I can, and sometimes right away.
Very good. Thank you so much, Brian. Last call. Any comments or questions for Brian? Okay, Brian, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate you joining the call. You can feel free to stick around, or you can jump off. But thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll stay on and just see what's new with you guys. And again, if there's anything, feel free to reach out. Thanks.
Very good. Thanks, Brian. Our second guest speaker today, many of you know her. Her organization does great work here in Shiawassee County. Becky Zemla, Capital Area Community Services. We specifically wanted to have Becky join us today because of her and her organization's role in this eviction diversion program. So we've been starting to get more calls from landlords asking about what can be done regarding eviction diversion. Obviously, there's a lot of challenges in people paying rent. Things could change dramatically here very soon, particularly if they do not extend that $600 a week unemployment at the federal level. So wanted to have Becky jump on the call and give an update on that program and what specifically her organization is doing to help that implement that in Shiawassee County. So Becky, the floor is yours.
Hi.
Yep, we can hear you. You're good.
Okay, good. Actually, we've been working with the courts and legal services to set up a system that we would be able to perhaps handle the evictions prior to going to court, although our process does also cover the court. So the funding source, which is MISHDA, Michigan State Housing Development Authority, has allowed organizations to accept a notice to quit, which they haven't in the past. So we're trying to get people who have a notice to quit to contact Legal Services of South Michigan first, and after the attorneys have made sure that it's a legal eviction, the first legal step in the eviction, then they are sending them to our HARA here in Shiawassee County. Then the HARA or case manager is assigned and will be working with that tenant and the landlord to resolve the eviction before it even goes to court. If by chance they're already in the first stage with a summons, again, Legal Services of South Central Michigan is the first contact, and then once they're sure and they can represent that client in court, then they're referring them to the HARA for resolution prior to even going to court. And there's a pre-meeting with the court and the attorneys and the landlord and CACS staff to see if it's been resolved. So we're really trying to not have people, number one, go to court. Number two, not have that on their background checks, and just kind of going with the flow right now to see how this process works. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Becky. Yeah, I have a question, but I'd like to open the floor up. If anyone has any questions, once again, this is a growing issue. A lot of landlords in this, probably on the call, but in this community have started reaching out about this program. How much money, Becky, are we going to have available in Shiawassee to help with this?
Something like $137,000.
Okay.
Now, MISHDA has set limits and time frames. So the tenant will have to qualify, but we're even doing 100% of AMI for this county.
Wow.
Which
and now
is, yeah.
One question I had, and well, let me open it up. Does anyone have any questions for Becky regarding eviction diversion? Hit *6 on your phone, please. Anybody have any questions for Becky? Becky, is there going to be, we like to send emails out on some of these programs. Is there going to be an email or something we'll be able to share with our network on the process for this?
I'll see if I can send that out to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is this, and maybe this is a dumb question, but this is specifically related to residential eviction. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I had that question. So I have some commercial landlords that are dealing with commercial tenants that are not paying their rent. And
Right.
they were wondering about, you know, assistance for them, but I thought this was only for residential. Okay.
This is only residential. But if I was a landlord that had commercial property that's renting out, I would be on MSHDA's websites and checking it out.
That's good to know.
I don't know that there's going to be, but I don't know, it just wouldn't surprise me if there was assistance for commercial tenants coming up.
Okay. Very good. One other question I had, because this is, you're on our call, I believe, for the first time. If you want to give a quick, you know, if there's other things you're working on through Capital Area Community Services, you've got a lot of local community leaders, business leaders in Shiawassee County on this call right now. If you want to share anything else that you're working on, please do so.
Well, we have an event coming up tomorrow, census event. It's also a hiring event out at DeMar from 3 to 6. We're trying to work within the confines of COVID-19 restrictions. And it looks like it's going to end up pretty good. We've had a lot of cooperation from the health department and the EOC and other organizations, nonprofits here in the community. DeMar has been wonderful working with us. And we're just hoping that's going to be going really good tomorrow. We also have a double distribution coming up on food. That starts the 4th, August 4th, and it's all drive-through. We expect to put somewhere between 200 and 300 households through that the first day. We're just doing all kinds of things. I have a staff person that's doing income taxes again. We're not actually meeting with clients yet, but they are providing their paperwork, and she is doing their taxes while they're setting out in the car on the phone with her. Just everything has just been busy. I have a team that's in the process of writing our regular ESG grant for homeless people. We're going to be working on coordinated entry also for homeless, getting those details updated. It looks like we received some COVID dollars, which was quite a chunk, and Catholic Charities is now doing our moteling. And there are more COVID dollars coming down from MSHDA to deal with homelessness. So nothing has been slow here. Nothing. It's been off the wall.
Well, I want to thank you, Becky. Obviously, we know how much our nonprofits have been challenged during this difficult time, and we appreciate all the great work that you're doing and our other nonprofits are doing to help people in our community. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Becky, either on the eviction program or anything else? And you mentioned the census event and hiring event tomorrow. We've been sharing that. We have a number of employers that are participating in that event. I believe 9 or 10. Please, if you have any individuals in your family, your kids, your grandkids, your friends that are going to be looking for employment, please send them. And the key thing, though, and want to be very clear about this, this is an organized event. As Becky said, safety protocols in place. We are asking people, if they are going to attend, to sign up beforehand, to pre-register. We have individual appointment times to meet with companies in order to avoid a gathering of people showing up to the event. So, but if you have someone that's looking for employment, and I think now is very timely because the $600 a week is ending. I do believe more people are going to be looking for work, getting back into the workforce. This would be a great way to do it. So please send emails out on it. Please, if you have someone, please have them sign up today if you can. So anything more for Becky? Hit *6 on your phone. Okay, well, Becky, thank you. Great update. Appreciate the work you're doing, and we will, as we get it from Becky, we will be sending out more information on that eviction program by email. And if you have questions, we'll get you in touch with Becky. So, thank you, Becky, and feel free to stick around. We're at a couple of more updates we wanted to provide real quick. Grants. A lot of grants out there right now. The big one, the Small Business Restart Grant. I sent an email out earlier this morning. The deadline is Wednesday. Applications are flowing in for the region. We've talked about it extensively. The key metrics: you have to be under 50 employees. You have to have been affected by COVID. One of the caveats that we're working on right now that was a problem, that if you had gotten a grant the first time around, which was 23 of our businesses, you would not be eligible. We are hearing some rumbles that they are trying to change that at the state level. So for those that did get a grant, there might be an opportunity to become eligible again. I know our state rep, Ben Frederick, is working on that. So I did want to note that. But it's a pretty simple process. It's an online application, pretty straightforward. Don't have to provide a ton of information financial wise. So please, if you're interested, definitely consider applying. Grants are available up to $20,000. So it's a really good program. The other ones that are out there are related to agriculture and food processing businesses. So if anyone needs safety protocols, PPE, things like that. They have grants available up to $1,000 per employee. You can have as few as one person, and then obviously it goes up from there. So I think at least one on this call is putting in an application for that. So that's another good program as well. Along with that, though, I sent out last week information. MIOSHA has created an $8.55 million statewide program for workplace safety for companies. So many of you are buying, face shields and masks and mobile barriers and other services and products, to keep your workers safe. They have a grant program that just opened up yesterday. It'll run through next Friday for you to be able to get grant dollars up to $10,000. It's a match grant. And it can be used to purchase sneeze guards, barriers, face coverings, gloves, eye protection, basically anything that you're doing to keep your workers safe. That program is available. So as I said, I sent out an email on it last week. The headline says $8.55 million in COVID-19 workplace. So that's definitely something that you want to check out. Along with that, we did email out our most current list of local partners that we've identified that can provide safety products and services. That list is now up to 20 different businesses. That spreadsheet was emailed out last week. If any business on the phone needs access to more local suppliers, we continue to get at least a few requests a week from businesses looking for local suppliers. Please refer to that spreadsheet. It's a really good document. Along with that, I always do want to mention too, if anyone needs testing, we do have our partners in Memorial Healthcare and welcome you to contact them if you need testing for your employees. Just a couple other things I wanted to promote. We are having I guess a webinar, if you will. It's more of a call, but today at 1 o'clock, Kettering University. Some of you were on the call here a couple weeks ago. We had Janie Stewart from Kettering. They are predominantly known as an engineering school, but they've got a lot of other things going on, particularly at their training level for various businesses, and they would like to do more work in Shiawassee County. Some of you probably work with Kettering on engineering co-ops, things like that. But if any of you are interested in learning more about what Kettering can do to help your business out from a training and education standpoint, we are having a call at 1 o'clock today. You should have received an email on that from me yesterday, a reminder for that. And then the final event I wanted to note today, and I'll actually have Brent or Jody on my team jump on this because they have helped organize it. We are having our annual meeting coming up in mid-August. Jody or Brent, do you want to talk about the details on that?
Sure, I can handle that. So we are planning an annual meeting. The invite should have gone out via email to your inbox, but the event will be on Wednesday, August 12th. We're going to be doing it at the Pavilion at Mitchell Park in Corunna. So that's, if you're not familiar with the area, you take Ferry Street all the way down to the end, and it will kind of dead end into the park there. We are going to be capping the in-person attendees at 60 because we feel that's as many as we can accommodate while still following the social distancing recommendations made by the health department. We are also recommending attendees wear masks, again, in conjunction with following those guidelines. But we're planning on having some light refreshments. There will be an ice cream truck there to provide some treats for everybody, just to help us kind of beat the summer heat since we are going to be outside. And for those of you who are either unable to attend the event in person or who are just not quite yet comfortable, we are planning on having a live stream set up there as well. So if you'd like, you can RSVP for that. And we'll send out full details as the event gets closer as far as how you can watch the event online.
Very good. And I do want to know Consumers Energy is our sponsor for that. So I don't know if we have any consumers friends on the call, but always want to thank them for that partnership. But I'm really happy with how the event is coming together. Once again, we have been in touch with our health department on that, making sure that we're following appropriate protocols. But I really like the fact we're creating an opportunity for people to engage, and be able to hear what's going on with our organization. I'm really excited about. We have a video we're going to show. And credit to Brent on our team. He's been working with Michael Jordan at David Lauren Photographic on putting it together. Some of you have participated on that video, talking about what we've been working on as an organization in recent times. And that's going to be sort of the main crux of the meeting, is to show that video, and very excited on how that's going to turn out. Brent, do you want to say anything on that yet?
No, I think the less said, the better. For those of you who are going to be able to join us for the meeting, I think you'll enjoy it.
Yep. We don't want to give it away. So, all right. Well, that's all I have for my list today. Obviously, since we do these once a week now and not daily, a lot of ground covered in one day. I definitely want to thank Sheriff Brian McGaul and Becky Zemla from Capital Area Community Services for jumping on and giving us updates. Does anybody have any comments or questions for me or anybody else? If you do, hit *6. Any comments or questions? The last thing I will note, we are having a guest speaker, at least one next week, including somebody who has a program, and I won't give it away yet, but that can help deal with transportation issues for your workers. So some of you have workers that don't have a car, that have a problem getting to and from work. We have a potential solution for that. So that's going to be one of our speakers next week. So if there's nothing else, we'll let you go. As always, if anything comes up, if you need anything, give us a call, shoot us an email. As Brian said, we're always available anytime as well for anything you need. So thank you all for your time today. We'll talk to you again next week.